Let me get to our guest and welcome them to Real World, Real Talk. And I'm really excited to have this conversation on tonight. I want to welcome to Real World, Real Talk for the first time, Willie D. Willie D, born Willie James Dennis, is a native Houstonian, and you might know that name, Willie D, as a member of the legendary rap group The Ghetto Boys, who burst onto the national music scene in 1989 with their album Grip It. Off That Other Level, the album was later certified gold. The group's follow-up album, We Can't Be Stopped, fueled by the hit single My Mind's Playing Tricks on Me, was co-written by Willie D and immediately went platinum and catapulted the group to superstardom. Willie continued to release successful singles and albums both as a solo artist and with the Ghetto Boys throughout the 90s. In addition to his music career, he also tours with the Ghetto Boys and owns several businesses. For the past 4 years, Willie has penned the top-rated advice column, Ask Willie D, that is published in the Houston Press, and is the host and executive producer of the Willie D live podcast. We also have with us Preston Middleton. He's the CEO at Next Wave Entertainment. Preston is the CEO of Next Wave Entertainment. Next Wave has branch offices in Atlanta and Houston. His company specializes in the area of digital distribution and entertainment and filmed content. In addition, he was instrumental in the negotiation of the Comcast TSU TV on-demand broadband cable TV channel launch, the very first HBCU Comcast on-demand partnership in the history of the Comcast Corporation. During his career in the recording industry, he has worked with, produced, written, and developed some of the entertainment industry's top recording acts, including TV production for Oprah Winfrey, ESPN, the Travel Channel, VH1, MTV, the Ghetto Boys, Big Mello, the Fifth Ward Boys, Boy George, Destiny's Child, Tammy Luttrell, Beyonce, the Gap Band, Charlie Wilson, Brian Michael Cox, George Clinton, Guy, Teddy Riley, and many others. He is involved in a major project with the city of Houston now to bring film making to Houston like never before. Let me thank both of you gentlemen for joining us today on Real World, Real Talk.
Thanks. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, come on, y'all I know y'all not mic shy.
No, we're not mic shy. How you doing, man?
Good. So there's a couple of things that I want to talk about on today that I hope will give us some insight. And let's go back historically, because both of you have been in the music industry a long time. You know, early on when rap came under attack as gangster rap, horror rap, whatever it was called, you know, it was pictured as, you know, you all causing, and I'm saying you all because you were part of that industry, that you all were causing the problems in the urban core of our country, when in actuality, many of the rappers early on said, hey, man, we're just reporters. We're just telling you what's going on. Most of you don't know what's going on in the community. We're just telling you what's going on. How have you seen hip-hop in general and rap evolve over the years?
You know, the biggest difference is that when we were doing it, we really were trying to put out social commentary and get people hip to what was going on. Ghetto Boys was among one of the first groups to even make a song about the drug game, a cautionary song about the drug game. At that point, there was a number of artists that were talking about it, but they were really talking about, they were just talking about the good side of it. They wasn't talking about the flip side of it, where late at night something ain't right. I feel like I'm being tailed by the same sucker's headlights, you know. And they wasn't talking about that. So if you listen to Ghetto Boy songs, yeah, we had a few songs that we was just wilding out, but the majority of our music was cautionary music. We wanted to be basically the voice of the voiceless. We wanted to be representative of ghetto boys and girls all over the world, first and foremost. And anybody after that we could help, then that was fine. But today, there's a number of artists that's very much exploiting the culture. You know, they're exploiting, you know, the happenings in the hood, like what's going on. It's about, you know, it's about bragging and saying I got this and I got that and I got that. I got a chop in the trunk, but they're not telling people what's going to happen if you get caught with that chop in the trunk. You see, you can have a chop in the trunk, that's cool, but how much time I'm gonna get? You know, I need to know that too. You know, if I roll with this chop in the trunk, how much time I'm gonna get for that chop in the trunk? So that's to me, that's the big difference, is that, you know, the guys back in our day, you know, for the most part were reporters. Today, it's more about glorifying.
Yeah, and you know, I think one of the concerns that I have is, I think you're absolutely right. There was an essence, because it was new, people didn't know. You know, I tell people all the time, I grew up in New York City on the Lower East Side of Manhattan, and I had two parents and a father who was a police officer. So I was one of those kids that, you know, you better be in before dark. But when I went and stayed with my cousins, you know, I found out that there was a whole nother world that didn't start until 9 o'clock at night, right? They were rolling hard until 5, 6 in the morning. And it was like, wow, I'm seeing this whole other world. I would go visit cousins in the Bronx, etc. And it was like, okay. What concerns me now is that it seems like this thing has been self-perpetuating now. And there are a lot of people who are glamorizing what they perceive has come from the lifestyle, you know, to talk about shootings and killings and calling women out of their names and all of those things. And they see, quote unquote, the stars making it out of that. But that's really not the message. And as you said, you know, man, you do the crime, you do the time. You know, like they really don't understand the repercussions behind it. What have you done as you have matured and as you've grown, and, you know, you're doing things now on a positive tip to say to this generation, you know, man, listen, y'all got to do some real soul searching, man. You got to make some changes in your life.
Man, you know, I was, for a while, I just kind of like, you know, because I have my own life and I have my own children to raise, and, you know, I got things to do. I was sitting back like and watching a lot of the buffoonery going on and a lot of the disrespect that was going on and the murdering and the cooning that was going on in our communities. And I'm sitting back and I'm watching and I'm like, you know, well, these guys that got bigger platforms than me, the youngsters that's out there right now, they need, you know, I'm waiting on them to say something.
Right.
And then the clock is just ticking, it's ticking, and nobody's saying anything. So I was like, well, you know what, if they won't do it, okay, it look like I'm going to have to put my best back on, you know, and then get on, you know, I'm going to have to get on out there, you know.
Yeah.
So that's why I jumped back out there and started putting out new music, because it just seems like everybody was so caught up in either being politically correct or wanting to just party. I've even heard like major celebrities, like, what's his name, Young Thug. He was doing an interview once, and this girl asked him, well, what do you think about everything going on today, you know, like with Michael Brown and everything, you know, with the cops killing black men. And he was like, man, we just partying, we just having a good time, and we don't mess with all that. We don't care nothing about all that. Say, man, these kids, it's like I don't understand how they could buy that, you know, how they could at that point. He shouldn't have had one fan standing. At that point, dude, ain't no way possible this dude was supposed to still be able to sell out arenas and sell out clubs or wherever he going, and people wanting to be around him and him having appearances or even being safe in our community. To have that type of mentality, you know, that's a slap in the face, man. It's one thing to give these other folks your money, man, and they do something dirty to you because we know what they're about. But when your own do that,
Yeah.
they got to be dealt with. And I'm sick and tired of the people in our community that are afraid to either are afraid to call these people out or say, well, you shouldn't be talking about another black man. You're trying to bring another black man down. Man, look here, man. You do recall that much of our plight had something to do with people in our community selling us out. That were people that was helping the slave traders,
Yeah.
you know, trade. That were black people that were overseers riding those horses, whipping black people. That was black people that was giving up the information when slaves were revolting. When slaves would revolt or they would run, they would go and tell if they found out.
Yeah.
These people are traitors, and they need to be dealt with. These coons are traitors. They need to be dealt with. That's an old saying, man. If you ain't helping, you're hurting. Okay? So look around. Think about these people that you like. Think about these people that you support. These people that wear these suits on. These people that wear these suits on ESPN, on TNT. These people on ABC, on all these major shows that you see, and you say, "Oh man, that they're representative of me." We're so desperate for symbols of success that we'll take anything. So think about these people who you love so much and you want to protect so much, and think to yourself, is this person actually helping our community? Not himself, not his family. Is he helping our community, or is he just helping himself? But we can't afford to just help ourselves. We can't. We're in dire situation, man. We can't afford to just help ourselves. Just help our family, our friends. It's incumbent upon us, all of us, to help each other. And everybody get that but us. And we still taking our notes. We're getting our cue from our oppressor. We're listening to our oppressor telling us how we should behave, how we should think, who we should like, who we should be friends with. If our oppressor don't think they're cool, they haven't checked them off, we say, ooh, can't go around him. Ooh, Master say don't go around him. Master ain't gonna like that.
Right.
You know, these type of people, they gotta be dealt with. They gotta be dealt with, and they gotta be dealt with swiftly and severely.
If you're just tuning in, you're listening to Real World, Real Talk. You might have thought that was me talking. It really wasn't. That was Willie D, man. I appreciate you so much.
I love that.
You know, I think
It's true.
you're absolutely right. And that's part of my issue, even with the educational piece. You know, we have waited for the descendants of our oppressors to teach us, to instill value in us and education in us. And then we're wondering why we've been miseducated and misinformed really since desegregation.